Okay, sir, all set.
Thank you. And do we need to open the waiting room? Okay, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tom Wheel. I'm the interim chairman of the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority. I'm joined today virtually by my colleagues, Vice Chairman David Arconti, Interim Commissioner Jan Beecher, Commissioner Michael Karen, and Interim Commissioner Holly Cheeseman. We're here this morning for a public comment hearing in PURA docket 250712, which is the Hazardville Water Company's application to amend its rates. This is the second and final public comment hearing for this matter. I want to go over the process for a public comment hearing here at PURA. If this is your first time participating in a PURA proceeding, all the commissioners and our staff want to thank you for joining today to offer your perspectives on this important issue, the issue of your water rates. The purpose of today's meeting is for PURA to receive comments from the public. PURA will not comment or offer opinions or answer questions on the contents of the application before us or the content of the company's presentation today. And that's because we're an adjudicatory body like a court, so we can't discuss this matter before we ultimately issue a final decision, which can only happen after all the evidence has been presented and heard. Comments from the public are important to PURA, and all the comments will be taken into consideration. PURA will evaluate the entire record in this case, including the evidence offered by the company, evidence offered by other parties or interveners, such as the Office of Consumer Counsel, and comments from the public. We also want to make clear that this case remains pending, meaning this case is still open and not anywhere near complete yet. PURA has received the company's application, but there is a lot of administrative process between now and the issuance of our final decision in this case. There will be evidentiary hearings, legal briefings, the opportunity for written exceptions to a proposed final decision. All of that will happen before the ultimate decision, which won't be rendered until May 1st, 2026. If anyone has questions about the PURA process or specific questions about how to locate filings in this docket, you can contact PURA at our main phone number, which is 860-827-1553, or email pura.information@ct.gov. So we're going to start today with a presentation from representatives of the Hazardville Water Company, who will offer a brief overview of their rate application. And following that presentation, we'll invite commentary from members of the public who wish to speak remotely here today. We do have a court reporter on the line who's transcribing this hearing, and your comments will become part of the record in this case. You can pose your comments today in the form of a question, but again, as the adjudicators to this case, the commissioners and staff of PURA are not in a position to respond to comments as part of today's hearing. A couple of quick notes just about the Zoom platform generally. If everyone could please remain on mute until you're called on to speak. When it's time for public comment, if you wish to comment, you can use the raise hand function on Zoom, which you should find on the bottom toolbar under the reactions tab. That will put you in the raised hand queue, and that queue, we should be able to call on people in the order that their hands were raised. Before you provide your comment, if you could also please just verbally identify yourself for the record for the court reporter. And lastly, if you could refrain from using the chat function, only because any statements that you make in that chat will not be part of the record. They're not transcribed by the court reporter, so those won't become part of the records in this case. I also just want to lastly emphasize that this is not your last or only opportunity to engage in this proceeding or any other PURA proceeding. For this one, we're going to include further opportunities for public comments at the upcoming evidentiary hearings in this docket. I'll provide those dates at the end. And you can also at any time continue to submit written comments via email to pura.executivesecretary@ct.gov. And I'll repeat that email again at the end of this hearing. So with that, we're ready to invite the representatives of Hazardville Water Company to please offer their presentation.
She gonna change the screen for us?
Yeah, I would assume so, because we can't.
Hey, good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
This will be a quick overview of the rate case filing. Next slide, please. Oh, there you go. Thank you. Mission statement of the company is strive for the highest level of quality, service, and professionalism, and being receptive to the customer's concerns to provide the highest quality of service possible, and recognize our customers' input as an integral component in determining our methods by which we provide quality service, an important indicator of the quality of service being delivered. This is just a quick overview of the historic perspective of the water company. It was established in 1892 by the Bridges family. It's been a family-owned, operated business since. It's currently in the third generation of ownership by the Avery Doing family, who purchased from the Bridges family in 1937. We serve approximately 7,500 service connections in the town of Somers, Enfield, and East Windsor. We have 121 miles of water mains, 12 well sites that are capable of producing 4.2 million gallons of water a day to serve our customers.
So the filing summary is the company, we are requesting a 1-year revenue requirement increase of 2.4 million in order to sustain our delivery of reliable, uninterrupted, and quality service to our customers, and to cover increased costs driven by inflation and regulatory requirements. Revenue is growing at an average of 3.5% annually, compared to expenses growing at an average of 11% over the past 5 years. And the increase in expenses is largely due to rising costs of materials, chemicals, power maintenance and repairs, increased insurance premiums, and increased property taxes. The last time the company filed a rate case was 16 years ago. We have filed 2 WICA resets since 2014, which get rolled into the base rates. Did you want to add to that?
No.
Okay.
The company's invested, oh, no, go ahead. The company's invested $6.6 million in WICA projects. WICA projects are a replacement of infrastructure that is beyond its useful life. These projects are previously been approved by PURA for replacement. And we've done another $8 million infrastructure for which is pumps and motor replacements, generator installations at our stations to provide resiliency in the event of power outages and extended power outages, as we've seen in the last 10 or 15 years. We've exceeded the WICA statutory limit of 10% 2 times in the past 16 years, which we just related were rolled into base rates. And we currently are at our statutory limit for our WICA projects of 10%. Requiring a reset, but with the reset, the company was asked to come in for a rate case to generate additional, to reset the WICA, and because we've been out so long for the 16 years that it was required us to come in.
So this is just a small chart showing the difference in from the 2009 rate case to currently our investment. So we had utility plant investment of 16.8 million in 2009. We're now at 31 million, which is an 84, almost 85% increase. Our O&M expenses, operations and maintenance expenses, went from 1.8 million to 2.8 million, and that's almost a 52% increase. And then our property tax expense, which includes all of our personal property, vehicles, everything else, went up almost 91% in the last, since 2009.
This is a picture of some of the WICA projects that we've done. We're doing a lot of work to increase service reliability for the customers, updating the aged infrastructure. Projects provide customers with improved pressure, water quality, reliability, and in some cases, better fire protection due to larger size mains being installed. And with that, we thank you.
Thank you for your time.
All right, thank you very much. We can now turn to the public comment portion of today's hearing. In case you weren't here for the opening remarks, I'll just go over some quick highlights. Again, Pura is the adjudicator in this matter. We can't comment or discuss this matter before we issue our final decision, so we cannot answer questions today. You can feel free to frame your comment in the form of a question. And again, just quickly for Zoom, please remain on mute until you're called on to speak. If you do wish to comment, now would be the time, if it's available to everyone, to use the raise hand function to get into the queue. I will call people to speak in the order in which they enter that queue. Before you provide your comment, if you could please verbally identify yourself for the record. And lastly, please avoid using the chat function, because that any communication via the chat will not make its way into the transcript for this case. It won't be part of the record. And that, I'm starting to see raised hands. The first one I saw was Mr. Soroka. So if you want to begin, please go ahead.
Yeah, sure. My name's James Soroka. I live at 8 Cornfield Lane in Enfield. I just wanted to, make a statement that we already pay a fortune in taxes, also property taxes. We just got hit with huge Eversource increases in electricity. A lot of people in Enfield are fixed income families that can't afford these huge rate increases. And right now, if you're looking at 72%, that's like 25 times the rate of inflation. That's a crazy amount of money. So I just wanted to point that out, that, when we're living on fixed incomes, these rate increases are really pushing people out of the town because they just can't afford it anymore. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Soroka. The next hand I saw was Mr. Lukens. Please go ahead.
Oh, got my audio finally. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. It's a little quiet, but I could hear you.
Oh, my microphone. Is that better?
Yes, thank you.
So the percentage increases shown in the presentation were over 16 years. I didn't do the calculation, but it should be pretty easy. What is the annual rate of inflation that leads to a 90% increase in the 16 years? It's certainly not 78% as being requested for the revenue increase. Why is it tends to make me think Hazardville Water Company is not being run properly. It should have been modest increases over time rather than a 78% increase in one step function. This is completely unreasonable. The other thing I wanted to mention is Hazardville water rates have a tiered rate for non-residential customers. Why is there not a tiered rate for residential customers? And along with that, the tiered rate basically incentivizes more water usage when on the Hazardville Water Company webpage, they're asking customers to conserve water. A tiered rate that would be in line with conserving water should have a higher rate at the higher tiers of the rate schedule. If we're trying to conserve water, which I certainly support, there should be tiered rates for residential customers with a higher rate at something like, I don't know, 10,000 gallons. Hazardville should have all the data to establish reasonable tiered rates that would lower the burden on most residential customers that use, let's say 80% of the customers use, I don't know, I have no idea what the number would be, something like 7, 8, 10,000 gallons a year. Whatever the number is that encompasses 80% of the residential customers should have a lower rate than the higher tiers. I've noticed other utilities, water utilities, have tiered rates for residential customers, and they're structured in that way. And I'm sure Pura is aware of these tiered rates. I'm suggesting and encouraging Pura and Hazardville Water Company to incorporate tiered rates that are higher in the higher tiers. That's it.
Thank you. Mr. Lukens, could you just say, we can all read your name on the screen, but for the record, could you just say your name for the court reporter?
Bill Lukens. I live in Southwood Acres, part of Enfield.
Thank you very much. I'm not seeing any other hands. I see Mr. Perkins. I just saw your hand come up. Please go ahead. And please say your name for the record.
Yeah, my name is Bob Perkins. I live in Jackson Road in Enfield here, and I agree with most and everything that these other gentlemen stated. That rates should be monitored on a regular basis, not as a lump sum type thing. And I do believe that through the WICA and stuff like that, that the company is being reimbursed for structural and changes and improvements that they have to do through there. I don't know all the details of how that works. But the representative also said that they do much to improve water quality. And as far as drinking water, it is drinkable, but it is horrible tasting. They should be doing something to improve that as well for those residents like us that are paying a lot of money for water that really the only purpose we have for it is to go down the drain. And then when it goes down the drain, we have to pay a ridiculous waste payment as well. And as far as the quality, we have very hard water. So therefore it destroys appliances that we have in our houses, and it is poor quality for taking showers, washing your hair, and your skin quality as well. So I don't think they're doing a whole lot to improve the actual quality of the water here in Enfield. And that's pretty much what I have to say.
Thank you, Mr. Perkins. Is there anyone else who wishes to offer comment? I'm not seeing another hand, but I'll give everyone a second to locate that reaction tab and use the raise hand function. Not seeing any other tickers. I just want to give everyone else one more minute to locate that raise hand function if you have a comment to share.
We don't have a raised hand function.
All right, thank you. I do see a caller on a phone with a phone number 860-749-2643. If you have a comment, you can feel free to go ahead and just identify yourself for the record first.
Thank you. My name is Mary Ann Julian. I'm in Somersville, Connecticut. And I didn't have a raised hand function on my phone, so there was nothing to hit. And I just came into the meeting late. I was having a hard time getting onto it. And I just was hoping that I would hear some more explanation as to why there was such a high increase. I know that Hazardville Water has not had a raise, they claim, in a long time. But for us, we saw a raise that just went through in March, April. And I'd like to hear more explanation on it. I may have missed it in the conversation earlier. It's awfully high. And also, too, I was speaking to a young lady at the office the other day, and she said that was just for certain customers. And how do we know which ones? And that was it.
Thank you. And acknowledging you missed the beginning, I explained that we at PURA, as adjudicators to this matter, like judges, we are hearing the evidence in this matter and going to render a final decision in May. So we can't comment or answer questions on the record today. The company did offer a brief presentation overview of their rate case. You should be able to view that. There's a video recording of this meeting that's happening right now that will be available on PURA's YouTube page. There will also be a transcript of this hearing available. Good. And you can reach out to PURA at pura.information@ct.gov if you want to ask for access to that transcript. It will be posted on the website, but if you need help locating it.
Thank you.
Sure. Mr. Lukens, I see your hand is still up. I wasn't sure if you had further comments you wanted to add.
I did. No, I forgot what it was.
Okay, I'll give everyone one more minute. If there's anyone else, if Mr. Lukens wants to refresh his recollection, or if anyone else wants to raise their hand and offer any further comment. Again, if you are on Zoom and not on the phone, the raise hand function is under the React section at the bottom. And if there is anyone else who's on the phone and wants to add comment, you can feel free to jump in and we can hear from you.
I recall what it was now. I know there's a schedule of hearings and this is the final day for public comment, etc. Hazardville Water Company requested 4 times in this docket to delay or reschedule items. I'm requesting that PURA delay things by at least a couple weeks, so there is additional time for concerned citizens to review these things if we can do that.
Thank you. And again, we'll take that comment under consideration. Are there any further comments?
It's me. My name is Leonard Martin, and I don't see the hand device on the Zoom. I'm not used to using Zoom, so I apologize for not raising a hand.
Sure, Mr. Martin, you can proceed. Thank you.
Yeah, very good. Thank you very much. I live over on Patricia Circle in Enfield. My general comment from the public is usually that very high mineral contents and erosion of all our exterior faucets and internal plumbing, especially in the hot water heaters and furnaces. And we've made this complaint many times to the company, and the company just tells people, well, you know, it is what it is, you know, the minerals won't kill you and things of that nature. But in fact, it does really deteriorate the faucets and the plumbing to a degree where many homeowners are changing their faucets and furnaces and hot water heaters sooner than they really should. I wish I could show you a picture of my faucet. I would have sent one in if I could. But almost any faucet you look at has all kinds of mineral contents all around the faucet. You have to, if you want to take them off, you have to unscrew everything and soak them in calcium for maybe almost a whole day to get all the minerals off. So, you know, their comments throughout was that they run a very responsible company and good service and things of that nature. Well, when it comes to the mineral aspect of it, they've done very little to help the consumer. And sometimes they'll say, well, you know, you can get a water softener, you can get this and get that. Well, if the problem comes from them, they should be the one proacting all the customers what they can do. And if there are water softeners out there, they should be able to work out a system where we can get it more on a wholesale basis, if that's what it comes down to, and help us with that particular problem and that particular cause. Also, it was mentioned just very slightly in the documents that they have a pension and profit sharing plan, and they admitted no other peer company has that. So if we're going to make all kinds of extra, um, if we have to go out extra and pay money out of their pocket, they're going to have to give up a little bit too. And in my estimation, the pension and profit sharing plan should be stopped, should be omitted. Very easy to roll those things over into guaranteed annuities. So whatever amounts have been put into those plans can be rolled out at age 65 or whatever the document has. Mass Mutual right up the road does a lot of this for companies. They're very, very good in the pension area. So that really should be looked at before we start making any, changes and have extra burden. Well, they need to pick up some of the burden themselves by getting out of their pension plan, setting up a 401k pay plan as well. I think there's only about 10 Fortune 500 companies today who have even defined benefit plans. So in my estimation, that might be one reason why they prolonged and not had any rate increases over 15 years, because they would have to divulge that information. Secondly, I also wanted to, or thirdly, maybe, I wanted to make mention that I think the some of the salaries for the chairman, and why do they have two chairmen? I think some of those costs should be eliminated or reduced. I think the head chairman is getting too much for what he or she does in that particular position. Also, I have some procedural complaints regarding how this was all put together. I just received a letter last Thursday. First public meeting was just this Tuesday. I wanted to go to that, but I was sick, so I'm glad at least there's this remote opportunity to do so. But I agree, more time needs to be given to the citizens. And also, the documentation needs to be a little better spread out. I mean, most people are not used to going through some of the documentation that was there. For example, there's a table of contents that is very, very good. Well, each one of those things on the table of contents should have a link. So you see the line item that it refers to, you click on the link and bang, you go right there. Otherwise, than having searched through all the documents, I'm not able to go through all the documents, but that would have made it a lot easier for people to go through the documents, especially for us older people who are not as computer savvy as others. So those are sort of my general complaints. Also needing requesting there be additional I don't know about an additional public hearing, but additional time for the people to get their questions and their concerns in, especially looking at the time factor that we've had. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Mr. Grigley, if I'm pronouncing that correctly, you can go ahead. Thank you.
Good morning. Thank you for the opportunity. Yeah, I heard some good stuff here, some good comments. I agree with a lot of stuff going in here, quality water and so forth. But the other concern I wanted to add is, and I'm sure everybody has this concern, is that it's an incredible big increase for one time. I think, I understand that you need additional, you're going to have increases in costs, and I get that, and there should be. But just couldn't they spread that out over a period of time instead of having this large increase in 1 year? It just seems kind of ridiculous that increase. To me, it should be, if you're gonna have increases, you could spread it out over a period of time instead of just a one large increase in 1 year. Like it was mentioned earlier, a lot of us are on fixed income, including myself, and it's going to be tough to pay something like this, just a large increase like this. It's just very very frustrating. And that's all I wanted to mention right now. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And could you just say your name for the record? We can see it on the screen, but for the court reporter.
Yeah, Timothy Grigley, Roland Street in Enfield.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Not seeing any other hands. So I see.
I have something. I don't
Sure.
have the hand on my laptop, but
Sure.
I'm not that computer savvy either. When I heard the rate, the ridiculous increase, I thought someone doesn't have a conscience. And this is just a ploy to raise it probably to 40 or 50% and make us happy to pay it. Just like people have been saying here, the quality is very poor. Our taxes are very high. We're already double taxed on water. I've never heard of that before. It's just another way to making money, and completely unreasonable when you consider when you're working and you need an increase because you can't afford to pay the tax, the living expenses. Your boss isn't going to say, oh yeah, here's 50% increase. This isn't the way life is built. There's too many people here in this area that are living on a limited income. My husband's 84, I'm 73. We don't get increases with Social Security and anything. We live on next to nothing. Something like this is going to kill us. And water is a necessity. It's not like turning your lights off or turning the TV off. We need water to live. There's not as many people watering their lawns. This is a case where a business has not been run well. And now shit hits the fan and all the residents have to pay for it, an enormous price. Absolutely ridiculous. I'm sorry I'm so angry. This is absolutely unheard of.
Thank you, ma'am. And could I just bother you to say your name for the record for the court reporter?
My name is Doris Poirier. I live in Enfield on Sharon Lane. You don't have a right.
Thank you very much.
Okay, can I interject? Can I add something to it? I'm her
Yeah.
husband.
Yes, sir. If you could also just add your name
Okay.
for the court reporter.
Number one, there's the same amount of fresh water on this planet today as there was when Caesar ruled Rome. And why do we have a shortage that we got to jack up the prices so high?
He wants your name. His name is
Alvin
Alvin.
Poirier.
Thank you, sir. Did you have any further comment? Thank you
No.
very much. Mr. Perkins, I see your hand is up. Did you have a further comment?
Yeah, I just want to make an additional comment. Again, this is Robert Perkins in Jackson Road. And you heard one person say that, again, we're hearing over and over again about the quality. And one person said you can do filter systems and stuff like that. He was told by the company. And that's true, you can. And I just recently had two companies come out and give me estimates to increase the quality of both the taste and the quality of the water so that you don't have all those minerals. And that would cost me over $8,000 to put in a good filter system in order to do that. So now, in addition to paying higher rates in order to have good quality, I would also have to pay $8,000 to have a filter system put in. It just seems absolutely absurd to have to do that and pay the ridiculous rates as well. And the comment made over and over again at these times when all the utilities are going up like crazy, taxes are going up like crazy, and it's insane to expect the residents to be able to adjust their living to that kind of increases. Thank you.
Thank you. If there's anyone else who wants to use the raise hand function, or if anyone is having difficulty, I myself have difficulty sometimes finding the raise hand function. If anyone else would like to just jump in and speak, if you can't find the raise hand function, please feel free. Okay, hearing no further comment, we are going to adjourn the hearing. I do just want to
Excuse me.
repeat some of them.
Excuse me,
Sure.
this is Leonard Martin. I
Yes.
thought I hit the unmute button. I was talking and so apologize for that. I also want to say kudos to those who mentioned about the poor management, because that is so true, that they have not spread out any kind of increases over 15 years. This is totally unheard of in any good practice. So I did want to say that, but I also want to say that the employees there are very good. When you call on the phone, they're very professional, and anyone you talk to is really good. So kudos from that standpoint, but management, I think, has a lot to be desired. One other thing that they also do is they charge $40 for someone to have their sprinkling systems checked out each year for the backflow, make sure there's no backflow into the water system from the sprinkler system. And I understand that. But the people who come out and do the lawn systems already do that. And almost no other town charges that $40. I like to see that $40 done away with. And they can get documentation from the sprinkler company to show that this was in fact done, rather than them coming out and wasting their time to do that, and maybe taking up more labor time than needed, and also the extra cost each year for that extra $40. So I did want to mention that particular fact as well. Thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Seeing no other hands, as I was saying, we're going to move to adjourn today's meeting. I did just want to go over repeat some of the information I gave at the beginning about how to get in touch with PURA, and then I wanted to give some important dates for this proceeding moving forward. So again, if you have any questions about how to navigate the docket or any other kind of procedural questions about how to engage with PURA, you can contact our main phone number at 860-827-1553, or send an email to pura.information@ct.gov. If you want to add additional written comments to be considered in the record, you can email those to pura.executivesecretary@ct.gov. And if you could just reference either docket number 250712 or just reference the Hazardville water rate case. I'll also add, we also, if it's easier for anyone, our mailing address is 10 Franklin Square, New Britain, Connecticut, 06051. So anything that you can just address anything to PURA or the Public Utilities Regulatory Authority, again, to 10 Franklin Square, New Britain, Connecticut, 06051. And again, if you have a comment you'd like to be considered in this case, if you can just reference that docket number or just reference the Hazardville water rate case. And lastly, the important dates coming up. We are, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to have evidentiary hearings in this docket in person at the PURA building at 10 Franklin Square in New Britain. Those hearings are going to start on December 1st, 2025, starting at 10 o'clock in the morning, and they'll continue every day until December 8th, 2025, again, starting at 10 a.m. each day. Those hearings are open to the public. You're welcome to come and observe the hearing in person. We will reserve time for further public comment on each of those hearing days. They're also going to be live streamed on our YouTube channel. So if you're not able to come in person, you'll be able to watch them in real time, streamed online. And again, written public comment is accepted by PURA at all times, but if you want your public comment to be considered on the record, please submit it by December 18th. That's the close of the evidentiary record in this case. So that's the last opportunity for the company, the Office of Consumer Counsel, any intervener. It's the last date that anyone can kind of enter further evidence on the record today. And with that, we are adjourned, and I thank everyone on behalf of all PURA commissioners and staff. Thank you so much for engaging with us today and offering your comments on this important matter. Have a great day, everybody.